Hey, I'm Robbie Kramer. You're listening to the Leverage Podcast, where we discuss using your social skills to hack dating, travel, finding your dream job, and becoming a complete man. Yo, guys, welcome back to the show. We've got a very special guest on today, Andrew Mioch. And he is going to be talking all about sex, sexuality. His website is sexualquantumleap.com, and he's the founder and head coach of the Sexual Quantum Leap, which is such an important area especially when it comes to men's personal growth and dating, because there's so many guys out there that get into, learning how to improve themselves and become more confident and attractive to women. And a lot of the time, I think those problems can even start due to sexual anxiety, or just a lack of experience and the lack of confidence that comes with that. And it's such an important piece. If you're feeling like you're not very confident in the bedroom and you're trying to go out and meet women, because you have that fear that's going to happen anyways, there's so many guys I feel like that would just take less action, or that would stop them just from the get-go. So it's such an important topic. So Andrew, welcome to the call, man. It's great to have you.
Bro, thank you so much for having me, and appreciate the introduction, man.
Just to let everyone know, you've been doing this stuff for over 10 years, ton of experience. I've been going through your course, and it's been absolutely amazing how to be the best she's ever had in bed without using pills, sprays, or having a massive cock. And you're also got a webinar coming up, right, on May 5th?
Yeah, May 6th. Yeah, that's it.
May 6th, sorry. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Yeah. Definitely. We'll plug that again in the end and make sure everyone goes to check that out. So give us a little backstory on how'd you get into this? How'd you, become, an expert in this field? Tell us your story.
Yeah, cool, man. As I said, appreciate you have been on the show and stuff like that. And it's awesome. Like, I love connecting with dudes like yourself who are like in the dating field, been doing this for a long time. And I know you already have like a mini sex course that you actually have yourself, which is really awesome to know that dating companies are actually really getting onto that and understanding the importance of doing that. So yeah, it's cool, man. It's like getting a girl to the bedroom, but it's like, what next? And that's what's been a fascination of mine, man, since I've been like 17 years old. So basically, I never thought I would be 29 now, traveling the world and like running retreats and basically fingering a doll for a living. When I say that, I've got like this fake doll that I teach guys how to do techniques about actually how to pleasure a woman and give her a phenomenal experience in the bedroom. So this all just came, man. Like, long story short, I'll break it down for you, but I was just always absolutely fascinated with sexuality. I remember at school in my like grade 4 report, it said to me, it is like, he gets distracted by anything in a dress. And that was actually on my school report. My dad's like, I'm sending you to a private school, mate, and come on, this is what you're doing. So if you can't understand my accent, it's an Australian accent. So I got that happening. So I was already pretty natural with women. Got into like learning about women, dating, attraction, really obsessed about that, man. I really loved that, did for quite some time as well. Ended up teaching that for a little bit as well. But I enjoyed it, but it was never really my passion. My passion was always this, man. How can I get a woman to the bedroom so then I can explore sexuality? But I think more guys are more like, how can I get a woman to the, meet lots of women, take them to bed? But mine was like, cool, I got a woman to the bedroom. Now the fun for me always began. So I never thought I said I'd be in this position, but the big thing for me was like, I was a bit of a cocky kid growing up, and I never really fit in a lot of ways. But what the big turning point for me, man, with all this stuff was like looking for personal development growth. I actually was a bit of a badass who I thought I was. I was selling drugs, doing all this other crazy shit. And then I ended up getting caught, man. So in short, I got caught selling drugs, and then I ended up doing community service. I didn't end up going to jail. But then the person who was like second in charge, I did 100 hours of community service. This was a chick who I was she was second in charge, and she was looking after me. We started having sex. So I'd go to like community service, she'd look after me. And I didn't know at nighttime she'd actually have a job. And she was actually like she was a prostitute, and she'd fuck like 6 to 7 to 8 guys a night, come back and have sex with me. I was like, this is crazy while I'm going to community service, and no one in the community service actually knew that we were having sex. But anyway, it's like that happened. And then one time I never forget, man, she actually said to me, she goes, can I be honest with you? And she has a lot of sexual experience. She goes, I gotta be honest. She goes, can I be really honest with you? I go, of course you can. She goes, you are really shit in bed. And when she said that,
Brutal.
it
Fuck.
fucking destroyed me, man. And the thing is, I couldn't, in my mind, I was so egotistical at that time. I'm like, no, you're wrong. You don't know anything. But the thing is, I know she has so much sexual experience. And my God, dude, she blew me away with
Yeah.
what she knew. And there's always two steps I can take in that point. I go, one, I can go forward and really make a fucking amends and go, you know what, I'm going to take responsibility for my sex life. Or two, I'm going to fucking hide away. But you know what? For a bit, I hid away because I was really like destroyed my ego. And I'm like, no, now it's time to step up and do something about it. So again, man, I believe when the student's ready, the mentor appears, and then all these mentors appeared about masculinity, sexuality, learning about who I am. I ended up getting mentored by one of the best BDSM coaches in Australia. I did that for 2.5 years. I went to like Tantra courses. I was just obsessed. I'm going to master this area of my life because I don't want to go through that pain again of a woman saying that I'm terrible in bed. And then all of a sudden it was just an obsession, and I love pleasure and sexuality, and then just traveling around the world, learning from different weights. Like I was learning from BJJ guys, learning from Indian mentors, like Eastern philosophy, Western philosophy, understanding a bit of technical stuff, understanding dating, connection, all these things. And then all that just like led to this journey of like people asking me for advice, man. And then all of a sudden it started to grow and grow and grow. Then we built like a Facebook community and group, and then we had like I've got like 150 testimonials. And like my mindset's always been like, I'm going to show people what I know, and by the experience I've had, instead of like sometimes sexologists or like sex therapists, where it's more like textbook theory. Mine's like, this is all based on my experience and everything I know that actually works, like how to give women multiple orgasms, how to cure premature ejaculation, how to keep it up, things like that, things I've gone through. Then I shared that information, and that's how I like built Sexual Quantum Leap where it is today. Now it's like traveling, doing retreats, but it's been a long journey, man. A lot of pain, a lot of suffering, a lot of beautiful experiences, but it definitely took a long time to get here. So that's the story in short, my man.
No, it's crazy interesting, especially the bit about the prostitute and and what she told you. So I mean, yeah, you kind of have to, you have to take her word for truth at that point, given her experience,
Oh, dude, I was like, I agree. I'm like, you know what? Now I look back and I go, that was the best and worst day of my life. I'm like, you know what? I agree. I was shit. Thank you.
I mean, fucking kudos to her for telling you that. She changed your life. Like, if she didn't tell you that, you wouldn't have this business, maybe. Like, who the fuck knows what you'd be doing, right? So, and that's something I talk about a lot. Just, having the confidence to just be honest with people, even if it's bad news. Sometimes, if it's something that will help them, right? So good for her. You can forward that message along if you're still friends with her. But
well, that's the reason I'm in the position I'm in today, man. A big reason to her is like, thank you for saying I was shit in bed, because you know what? I'm like, I'm never going to get a woman say that again, and that's been my mission.
That's such a powerful story. It's crazy.
Yeah, man.
So that's kind of brings me to a question. Why do you think most men are shit in bed? What do you think the first problems are? I'm guessing it's going to be coming too fast, premature ejaculation, or maybe not being able to get it up. Like, do you hear common complaints from women, or just obviously from what you've experienced in all of your teaching?
Yeah, man. Like I can go from a perspective of what women say, or it's like what the men say. But when I'm dealing with mainly clients, there's two types of men, man. It's like there's three types of like sexuality what I like to deal with. Like the first type of man's like, he just has performance issues, like can't get up, can't keep it up, can't last long, and then also he struggles to come, and that's all around the same issue. So performance issues. The second part is actually where it's like, you know what, guys already think they're amazing in bed, but then I just come along and go, yo, you might be pretty good in bed. Like I've actually worked with a ton of dating coaches, and my idea is like, how can I blow their minds and show them like they might have had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of sexual experiences. I'm like, cool, if I can change their lives in regards to their sexuality and make them an absolute beast and take them from here to here, that was my idea. That's why I work with the dating companies. I'm like, cool, but works for them. Imagine the guys who like maybe had a few girls here and there. Now, answering your question about like what it is, why men are shit, is because sometimes we come from a place of like, I'm trying to please the woman so I can feel good about myself. So there's three components of sexuality. I've actually got a book coming out soon called Best You Ever Had, and I'm going to be putting this in depth, and there's three sections. It's your sexuality, her sexuality, and our sexuality. And a lot of men sometimes try and focus on just the woman's sexuality, and they forget about their own pleasure. So your sexuality first, it's like the quote unquote, get to know you first before you get to know someone else. It's the same with sex. What do you like? What do you want to explore? How do you know you like that? And then like really delving deep into those questions and being comfortable expressing your own sexuality. Then the second part is understanding her sexuality, what she likes, what she doesn't like, and really delving deep into that emotional connections, sexual connections, all this stuff, and understanding how to like really get her to open up and make her not feel judged about her sexual expression. The third part is ours. So ours is how it all ties together. So you've really got a good understanding fundamental. I'm giving you a broad overview, a good understanding of your sexuality, and then you have a good understanding of hers because you're like having open dialogue, communication, and breaking that all down. Then when you have that, you have ours. And then what you want to do is you can get to a point where your two bodies are moving in a rhythmic dance. And that is essentially great sex because now you have like, I call it like Bluetooth. You're connecting your phone to the Bluetooth. And the first time it's going to be a little bit clunky, but then over time, when it really connects, it's just going to deepen your experience time and time again.
Yeah, I like that analogy. It makes a lot of sense. So it's yours, hers, and then together, ours. Yeah.
And sometimes guys like also think like, I'm just going to be for me, man, in the bedroom, and I'm just going to have like lots of sex. I'm going to like, it's all about me. I'm just going to come really quickly. And they're forgetting like, but what do they actually like apart from just like putting in for 5 minutes and then just like getting it done? It's like, you're focusing too much on yours, or some guys like, I just want to please the woman because they want the woman so much to stay around. Instead of getting a healthy understanding of like what pleases you, and then looking at the woman going, oh, that's what she likes. So it's like a give and take relationship as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's so dangerous too, to have that mentality that a lot of guys probably have, which is just like, yeah, whatever, I'm just going to make it good for me. Cause if you're shit in bed, I mean, you're just not going to keep girls around, maybe you will, like, I'm not saying never or it's impossible. Like, I know a lot of people that have been in relationships, and even though the guy's been not the best lover, women have stuck around, but why wouldn't you try to become the best lover possible? So I don't know. It's just one of those things. I guess it's hard for most guys to talk about, if you feel like you're not doing so well, you really kind of need to talk to a professional about it, because it's probably embarrassing to talk about it with your friends, that sort of thing. So
that's the same as you, man. Same with guys come with you for dating advice. They go, it's like, I just commend a lot of guys. It's already hard enough, like going, I need to talk to a dating coach sometimes about like getting my dating life handled. And then it's like, even the next level, I realized, man, it's like, well, I want to talk to someone about my sexuality and I don't know who to turn to. And my mum didn't give me the best advice. That's why we say Sexual Quantum Leap is the company. It's like coming to get the sexual education that your dad never gave you. Like the proper education he gave you. Just watch porn, son. It's all going to be good.
Yeah. Speaking of porn, what's your take?
Wow, that's a massive topic. But where do you want to take that? Because that could be so many different ways.
Well, I mean, I think I kind of know your take because I've been reviewing your course, obviously. But I know that I think porn is pretty damaging for guys. Especially the normal sort of form of watching porn. How I used to watch porn in college was, I'd wait for my roommate to leave, open up the laptop, get out my lube, be sitting at my desk like this, and rub one out as fast as I could before you got back, right? And didn't want to get caught with the pants down. And essentially, and you make this point that you're training yourself to have sex when you're masturbating. So doing it to porn, I'm sure, you can talk about it. You're the expert. But I'm guessing that's going to create a lot of issues around connecting with the woman and, just how long you last, all that stuff.
Yeah, I think you've seen it in the course. Maybe the way you masturbate is the way you fuck. And that's so true. A lot of guys are years, as you said, man, you're in college and you're like, but that's the thing. Think about it, that sexual education, like we brought up, like, quick, my buddy's gone, quick, now it's time to get it off, get it over and done with. So you're already thinking, getting it over and done with, leaning over the computer, like this is on the course, tensing your whole body and then going, go. And then all of a sudden you're already on high alert. In your mind, you think it's kind of wrong, that you shouldn't be watching porn because you're doing it behind like closed doors and you're doing it hoping your buddy doesn't walk in. And then all of a sudden you're tensing your whole body, which you shouldn't be tensed when you're actually having sex. You should be completely relaxed. And then all of a sudden you're going for it as fast as you can and you're thinking, holy shit. And then you're on high alert and hearing out the back of your head going, I hope someone doesn't walk in right now. So then it's all building all these unhealthy habits in regards to sexuality. And the way you're masturbating is the way you fuck. So this is the way you're masturbating. And then what you're doing, you're watching porn. And what most guys do, they might have like 6 or 7 tabs open, or maybe 3 or 4, or it doesn't matter how many, or even more. What ends up happening, man, people don't actually go for the lulls in sex. Like, do you know how like sometimes you're kissing and then like you go penetration, then you might go down, or go like all these lulls like this, and it's just flowing. But the thing is, no one goes through that on porn. What it is, it's a constant, like, maybe it's just like some hardcore shit that's going on. Maybe it's just like, say it's a blowjob scene, and guys don't just like watch it. They constantly go to that same thing. So they're constantly getting that dopamine of like that intense blowjob scene. They keep watching that. And then they're stuck in this like addictive cycle of just like clicking on that one particular thing that really turns them on. So their association with sexuality is just like this intense blowjob scene, but sex is like what about the build up, the foreplay, the kisses, the cuddles, the lulls when sometimes like that. That's why guys are struggling to get erections. They're coming too quickly, and sometimes they go, I don't even want to have sex with my partner because it's not even the porn. They're stuck in this addictive cycle of like that. They're flowing. Sometimes they're watching porn, just the same thing over and over, opposed to maybe watching some conscious porn, so to speak. Maybe it's like conscious love making, where it's like two people like actually making love with the highs and the lows, and that's actually real sexuality, opposed to thinking. That's why people call it a porn addiction, because they're not addicted to like maybe sometimes it's just what they're seeing on the screen. They're addicted to the cycle of that consistent stimulus that actually turns them on, which actually in essence they get addicted to that, and then they can't see normal sex. They can't see sex what is normal, and then they go, I only get turned on by that certain part of the sexual act, which sometimes it might take a few points of negotiation to get a woman to be comfortable actually expressing and opening up that she's comfortable maybe doing some really intense blowjobs, also maybe intense fucking, but then she might need maybe half an hour, 45 minutes to warm up to be able to get her in that place to do that, but they're not getting stimulated in that meantime because they just go straight for the hardcore fucking sexuality part.
Right. Yeah, that's a really interesting, it's just, well, obviously it's true, like, but I've never thought about it in that way, that it's, because, yeah, normal sex, there's lulls, it's highs and lows, like, but porn just essentially, if you're talking about the porn that you were just mentioning, where you find a scene, you're looking to create that, kind of mental image, you're searching around for scenes, like, all right, I got it, and then it's just going up, and then, you hit that at that point and you're finished.
Or you're doing compilations of the same thing. You're like, I want to do a compilation of the thing that I'm into. So you're not actually like seeing real sex. It's just compilation blowjob, compilation of MILFs. And it's like they're doing a certain thing. You're like, fuck, here we are. How to get stuck here, So.
Right. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Fuck. So yeah, I like that idea of watching conscious porn or watching real, watch people making love. And at least you're then training yourself for a much better experience.
Yeah, I was going to say that when you're watching porn, it's also the way you're watching porn. Like I always say, there's a few times you can watch porn. You can watch it if you're with a girl, so maybe it might turn her on. You can do that, so you can do it some odd occasions. Or why not shoot your own porn? Then you can watch that and enjoy that. Or watch some more like not just like porn that is not realistic. So then you can actually do that, because a lot of guys just stop doing porn. You shouldn't do it. But the thing is, it's like you've been training your mind such a long time, and the neural pathways are starting to be created by that. That's why guys struggle when they sometimes with a real woman, even though she might be insanely hot, but they don't understand that neural pathway has been created of what actually turns them on, and then they might just get stuck in that loop. So they're not just like getting stuck watching the porn, they're getting stuck in the loop of the porn they're watching. Right.
Well, I'll admit I'm slightly guilty of a piece of that. So I make my own porn all the time. And nice. I'm always looking for like a certain scene that I shoot, and then I'll sometimes jerk off to that. But so it's still kind of what you're talking about, where you're going for that certain sort of thing. But
yeah,
at least I feel better. It's my own homemade stuff.
So. Oh, was that your Pornhub last night, mate?
Oh fuck! I accidentally uploaded that one. Of shit.
That's great.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I guess one thing, it is fun to watch your own porn. So I'm a big of guys going. At least you're watching yourself. I don't know. Maybe that could be narcissistic as well. Who knows? But we don't need to get into that. Another question I have, I wanted to ask you about. So a long time ago, I read The Multi-Orgasmic Man, Montauk Chia, and he talks about the male full body orgasms, being able to circulate energy and control your orgasms. And I practiced, doing those exercises for, I'm sure I could have practiced a little harder, but it had to be like 3 or 4 months, really built up my PC muscle, tried to work on, being able to not ejaculate and circulate that energy through my body, but I could never pull it off. And I noticed that you're teaching something similar in your course. I didn't get through all of that content yet, but can you speak to that a little bit? Because a lot of guys think it's a total myth.
Yeah, no, man, great question. So when I first started this journey, it's breaking up a little bit, but I think we're good. Can you hear me good?
Yeah, you're fine.
Awesome. So yeah, when I first started this, man, I came from like, how can I say this? So American listeners, I came from maybe a little bit of a redneck kind of background, and mine was more like, it's like kind of like really kind of like the West Side and things like this. And I was a carpenter. I never thought any of this shit was possible, as I said. Like really a bit rough around the edges. And the reason that what I'm doing with sexual quantum leap is because it's like saying shit as it is, like with sexuality, opposed to like going around the edges. Now, when I first heard about the concept of like you can have multiple orgasms without ejaculation, I looked at my teacher. I'm like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you? Yeah. I'm like, just being 100% remember, I'm like, dude, why do you not want to come? Why do you want to do this? And then he's like, well, what we're going to do these practices, which is the best you ever had, which you're saying. And I started practicing this, and I want to give you a story about how this actually happened. So I actually have had multiple orgasms, but not doing it. So it is real, just to put it out there. You can have it, but it takes a lot of discipline. So I remember this, man. I was practicing non-ejaculation, practicing the PC, circulating energy, relaxing the whole body, letting it flow. So many times, like I'll just be practicing. I think at the most days I did 139 days of non-ejaculation. And that was like a really big, and I was having sex in that meantime, like cultivating the energy, really building that up, all these exercises. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I'll give the overview because like it's a huge topic. But what ended up happening, like there's so many times I'm like, I want to have these multiple orgasms. I want to have these full body orgasms. Where is it happening? But that's the wrong attitude. It's like, this is it. If you really want to have those full body orgasms and those multiple orgasms, and what happens, your body kind of goes in convulsions, and what it feels like your whole body is just like, beaming with light. I'll just try and you're just like, woof, and it feels like you're constantly ejaculating and having these like expansive experiences. You're like, what is happening? This is crazy. So what happened was I was doing this for a long time, trying to have these multiple orgasms, and that's the operative word. I was trying, and this is the thing that fucked me up so much, man. I was trying so hard to have it that I wasn't doing it because I wasn't letting go. So the key to this is actually giving yourself full permission to let go. And then when you do that, that's when it happens. Because how many times we're in the bedroom going, hope she likes this, hope she doesn't think I'm weird by touching her leg, is hope like it's not too slow, things like this. And if you're stuck there, you can't do it. So I was like doing this for a long time. And I'll never forget the first time I had it. I had this girl I was seeing, and we went up to Sydney, and we went to like a sex party one night. And then we just went there, we just kind of chilled and did some stuff. But then when we got back home, I'm like, I'm done with this fucking multi-orgasmic shit. Like, you can learn a lot about circulating so you don't come so quick, which is great. But then to get to that next level, you have to truly let go. And I go, you know what? The time it happened is when I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm overdoing all this shit. I'm just going to like flow and have a really good time. Then all of a sudden, that night when I was with her, man, I was just flowing. I was in the moment. I didn't think if I was going to have her or not. It just fucking hit me. My body started opening up. I started like convulsing, and I just started feeling like so much pleasure running through my body. And I'm like breathing. It happened for about like 5 or 6 minutes. I'm like, what the fuck was that? I looked down at my cock. I'm like, did I just come? I actually thought I came. I'm like, what was that? And I'm like, no, I didn't come. But I realized because I gave myself full permission to let go, doing the exercise and just breathing slowly and connecting with the person in front of me, when I gave myself permission to let go and not think about I have to do something, that's when I actually come. And that's the paradox. When you do truly do that, that's when it happens. And it's like circulating through there and building it up and flowing. And when you're with someone, when you're truly relaxed, you have to be truly relaxed. You have to let go of all outcome 100%. And then when you do this, it's going to be the cultivation of that practice. And then once you do it once, I can bring this on when I want to now. But the thing is, if the woman isn't so conscious and understanding about it, then it's a lot harder to bring it on with her. But when you're with more conscious women who are like more understanding of what's happening, it's a lot easier to bring that on as well. So if you're a guy watching this and trying to pull a chick from the nightclub and you think it's going to happen like that, it's not. It's going to be probably with a partner who you're actually practicing these exercises with and cultivating this energy. When I say that, you're like building this energy through your body, like the sexual energy, which is the most potent fucking energy that we have. And then when you do this, you're being more aware about what you're doing as opposed to just like ejaculating really quickly. So yes, it can happen. It takes a lot of practice. But the big thing is when you truly let go of all outcomes in sexuality, which is a big practice, that's when it can flow. And then when you're with a partner who's understanding, yeah, man, it can 100% happen.
Gotcha. So you were still, doing the breathing techniques and,
Mm.
obviously doing what, what they say to do. But it was more of a mental thing. I'm just like trying to let go of the technique versus, yeah.
Yeah, the big thing
Yeah.
is
That's,
when you're with a woman, you're like, I don't have to do anything. I don't have to like force something to happen. That was a huge thing,
mhm.
man.
Yeah, I think guys get caught up in that a lot. That's a big thing. Like really wanting to go the extra mile, and like I want to please her. I like and putting, I think, extra pressure and emphasis on whether or not she had an orgasm. How much does she like it? I know for me, as like the stereotype Jewish guy, like Jewish guys all say that, oh yeah, we're a pleaser in the bedroom. Um,
Yeah.
have you heard that one before? I don't know. Maybe
No,
it's
I
just
haven't.
yeah,
Really?
like it's a very common cliche. But the problem with that is, I think she can feel that energy, she can feel that pressure, and it took me many years to like kind of overcome that. Do you see that in a lot of your students as well?
100%, man. That's a big one. I'm sure you said it's the same. It's the same as guys meeting women. It's like that pleasing. And the thing is, it goes so
Yeah.
deeply rooted, man. Like for me, I was like, the way I got love back in the day when I learned all this stuff about sexuality was like I would get women in my life so then I'd feel fucking good about myself, feel whole, so to speak. And I was like, fuck, what is this? And I had to really break a lot of those conditioning and those patterns. And when I really did that, man, I was like, holy moly, it's like, what do I like sexually? What do I want to explore? What do I really want to tap into? And how do I want to connect with the person who's in front of me? And then when I see the clients really break through that, they get a lot more pleasure. They can have deeper connections with women. And then they go, oh my God, that's what I've actually been seeking, opposed to going, this woman like kind of completes me in a way, but it's like it takes a lot of awareness to get to that point. And then when you get there, it's like, oh fuck, my whole life I've been just trying to please someone and just like give them pleasure. But then what about what I actually wanted as well in the bedroom? What about really what turned me on? What about what I actually really liked? What do I want to do? And do I actually really want to be with this woman instead of doing it from a headspace like Western culture? Like we're like, you're a man if you fuck lots of girls. And but then women like, you're a woman if you don't have sex with many men. So then it's like, hang on a second, how many women have we like sometimes been with where maybe we're just doing it to maybe tell our boys or tell our friends or tell someone, then all that validation from same sex, and then you go, I actually feel shitter and shitter about myself, but it's so deeply rooted. And then like sometimes like, how do I actually feel with this woman? Am I actually getting aroused, or am I doing this just because it's a woman in front of me? I'm going to do it because just because, when maybe you might not even be into the chick, but you get to like maybe write like old school shit, like writing a report so dudes can fucking see and you get validation from those guys. When you're like, who are
Right.
these guys who are actually giving me validation, etc. Man, it's the same thing with the sex. I've seen that a lot with guys as well, man.
Yeah, the validation addiction is a big one.
Oh yeah,
Especially the
man.
guys that get into dating coaching or confidence and personal growth. I think that's one of the biggest things out there, and obviously that translates to the bedroom big time. Um,
Mm.
yeah, I was gonna ask you. Fuck, I lost my train of thought. You said something there before we were talking about the validation. Um,
Multiple orgasm stuff.
no, it wasn't that. Fuck, what was it? Fuck. All right, we can come back to it. I'll think of it. I'll think of it later.
It'll come to you, mate.
So, how long do you think? Like, what's the transformation period? Like, how long did it take you from going from you got this feedback from
Yeah.
from that woman? How long do you feel like it took you to go from being someone who said she was the worst to being to the point where you felt really confident, you were getting lots of great feedback from women? Like what's the length of that journey? What does that look like?
Man, that's been like properly about 7 years plus, man. Like really like doing that to that point, like getting to the point where it's like multiple orgasms. But there's 2 points, man, to this. It's like I've always been fascinated about how can I create a really deep connection with a woman, but then how can I cause a really great deep sexual connection as well. There's two different
Mm-hmm.
components as well, man. But it took that time because I was like meeting mentors, meeting the wrong mentors, meeting great mentors, things like this, experimenting a lot. Oh, believe me, there's some times when I still like in the bedroom and I do something that the girl doesn't like, but I know how to bounce back from that quickly as well. Like I still get mentoring now on sexuality. Like I had a mentor once tell me, she's done 20 years, 30 years. She's been teaching some really intense stuff. I feel like a virgin when I'm around her. And she's like, yeah,
Yeah.
I still like and she's like, yeah, I still feel like I'm a beginner every day. And she's done the most insane shit that I've ever heard of in my life. And I'm like, how the fuck do you still feel like a virgin? And how do you feel like a beginner when I'm like, I come to you for advice and there's another guy. It's usually, I realize the people who are same in any industry, the people who are the most humble and like, just like, they feel like they're consistently the beginners are the ones who learn the most. But it took like quite a bit of time. And the thing is, man, every day I'm still learning, man. I'm still learning about sexuality. And I want to like say this, like people go, how can you make the fucking like, say like you're the best a woman's had and get your clients to do that as well? It's because I say this, I'm willing to ask the questions that men aren't willing to ask in the bedroom, and I'm willing to say the things in the bedroom that men aren't willing to say. So what I mean by that is like, I'm willing to ask the woman the questions about her sexuality that might be uncomfortable, that most men don't want to ask, that gets her to feel comfortable and open up about who she is, what she likes, what she doesn't like, how she likes to be touched, where she doesn't like to be touched, what she doesn't like to be called, things like this. And then saying the things that most men are uncomfortable to say. Basically, it's expressing their sexual truth about what they want to do and what they don't want to do. And then when they can do that, that's when you can actually go, holy moly. That's when a woman's like, he understands my sexuality and he freely expresses his. And that's when you can become sexually confident. And then women go, I want to get to know this guy a lot more. And obviously seeing the gain of retention.
That's what I was going to ask you as well, was communication is such an important part of this, especially when you're with a new woman and, maybe you've had sex once or twice and you want to start asking her those questions around what she likes, what she doesn't like. It can be awkward to bring that up. How do you suggest guys go about that?
Yeah, in short, man, like when they're bringing it up, a lot of guys try and beat around the bush. It's like sometimes they can just like build up a, hey, you know what I want to do is like either for guys that having sex with a woman for the first time. That's a question I get quite often. It's like, I'm having sex with a girl for the first time. What should I do? I'm like, first of all, let's take all pressure off the girl. And that's going to take pressure off yourself. So what I mean by that, it's like sometimes I'm with a girl for the first time, like, hey, yo, she's sitting on the couch. You just got the first date. She's come after your house after you've gone out maybe for a drink and you're sitting on the couch and you're feeling things get sexual. She's still thinking usually a lot of time, fuck, am I going to have to fake this? I've got all this sexual pressure. Do I have to do something tonight? What I want to do is take all that pressure off the woman and say, hey, tonight, I really like hanging with you. I really enjoy like the company that we've had. And what I want to say is there's no pressure to do anything tonight. And when guys are with girls for the first time, they say this, it takes the pressure off them. It takes her pressure off her. Let's just play and explore and see what happens. But you know what? I just want to let you know, this is how I feel about you. And then when I'm with a woman, I actually can feel that I'm genuinely saying that. It's like, I'm telling you how I find, like, I really find you sexy. I really find you really attractive like this. I really like the way that you look. But you know what? I just want to like take things slow, get to know you and really just explore your body and play. I like to say that word. I like to explore. I like to play. I really just enjoy your company and I enjoy your touch in like that positive reinforcement. Then all of a sudden I go, hey, you know what? If we don't do anything tonight, that's cool. And you actually want to see a girl again, I'm like, I really want to see you again and just like take our time and do this. And then that's already giving her permission to not go, oh, I have to fucking do something tonight. And the thing is, guys think they have to fuck a girl really good that first night. She's not going to come back. Not necessarily true. What a woman usually wants sometimes more than an orgasm is the feeling that she can let go and be herself. And sex is going to be there. She always says she wants to be around a really relaxed guy, confident guy, which you talk all about. And then a guy who's like, who's really good in the bedroom, who she goes, yeah, he's going to have great sex with me, but it doesn't necessarily mean it has to be straight away. But I know that's on the table as well. And he's going to make me feel so relaxed. Because sometimes women might not be able to have an orgasm on the first date because she's so tense. But then when she can be so relaxed and open, she goes, thank you for giving me the permission and the feeling. She won't say this, but it's what she's thinking. Thank you for giving me the feeling and the permission of being so open and like so safe and so cared for. And I understand that you're a sexual guy, but I actually can just like let go with you and there's no pressure, which gives me like, oh my God. And sometimes when you're playing with a chick, they might go, I feel like I just orgasmed, but sometimes I didn't orgasm when you're actually with a chick. Sometimes they just go, I felt so free, which actually felt like she actually orgasmed. So that's like sometimes women get a little bit confused and they go, oh my God, I felt like I came like so many times, but she might not have because she goes, the first time a man's actually made her feel free in the bedroom, even if you just might have been giving her a pussy massage or just touch, like fingering her, and then she goes, oh, that was insane. Then she wants to see you again because she wants more of that beautiful experience where she feels safe to express her true sexuality.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great advice. How often do you run into women who are, I've noticed a trend, and I'm curious if you've noticed this too, but obviously, you know, with age comes experience and being comfortable. And I've run in a lot of circles with models and girls in nightlife industry, a lot of girls in their early 20s. I see a pretty common trend, whereas obviously the younger the woman, the less experience she might have had sexually, and the less easier she can get to orgasm, or she might not only be able to do it, you know, with herself manually versus with the guy. And then, you know, a lot of the time I feel like just maybe with age, you know, once they get into mid 20s, late 20s, then sex becomes a lot more enjoyable for them. I'm curious if you've seen that pattern in that as well.
Oh, 100%, man. Like the thing is, it's like even just us for us guys, we're like, what figuring out. But I've got my oldest client was 62 years old, man. And it's like sometimes it's like they're still exploring. They might have done business their whole life. Then you've got the young girls. It's like, how the fuck are they going to have this sexual experience? Most guys don't know what the fuck they're doing. Girls have got like, even women, they've got like ill information when it comes to sexuality, and they're like kind of like, don't do it, it's shameful, don't have sex with too many men. So then if they are having sex, it's usually just with guys who don't know what they're doing either. Most guys are terrible in bed, so the bar isn't even that high, man. To be honest, it's like that's why when these women are having this experience, they meet a guy like yourself or like me or the clients that they've got, it's like we're giving them the experience to explore, to play and open up and get to know their sexuality. So yeah, I've like trained a lot of girls. Like when I say trained, it's like maybe from like having a girl like, who has no sexual experience, doesn't like it, and then you take them through that progression of like getting them to be fully free and expressive in their sexuality, just overarching that, then they go, they'll never forget you because you're giving them an experience that they've always craved, but they never knew was sometimes possible. And sometimes women don't realize that they can orgasm. And the thing is, every woman is orgasmic, every woman is multi-orgasmic. It's how they're anatomically like built, but at the same time, they don't believe it's true. Every woman can squirt as well, but sometimes they don't believe it can happen because they've just been told like maybe don't squirt, don't do this, don't have an orgasm like this. And a lot of women actually will fake it as well, just because sometimes they just want maybe the guy to stop having sex, or they just like, you know what, I just stop having sex, or maybe they're not really that into that guy, or maybe they just want to like quickly just show how much they like the guy so they can see him again, even though they didn't come. So there's a lot of like stuff like that as well, man.
Yeah, there's just so much like bullshit, miscommunication, bad advice out there. I was interviewing a very famous, you know, retired male porn star a couple episodes ago, Timo Hardy. And I learned how to make girls squirt back at a sex party, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. And I thought I was pretty good at it until I saw him do it. This girl is just squirting buckets. Just like, I was like, what the fuck is going on? And I told him, like, dude, you know, usually in my experience, I can get like 50 to 60% of the women to squirt, even if they say they've never done it. And he's like, dude, I can get every fucking girl to squirt. Doesn't matter what she said. And I'm like, I mean, yeah. after watching that. So yeah, there's just so many like misconceptions around sexuality out there. And I learned it the hard way when it came to squirting. I had a girlfriend, and you know, she was like, I can't squirt, I can't do it. I tried everything, wouldn't work. And then we're at a sex party and the guy's like, oh, here, just watch. And he goes, and bam. And she's like, what the fuck? And I'm like, dude, show me how you did that.
Yeah. The best is, man, yeah, like running sex, man. Oh, man, when I was running sex parties, like, it's just so funny. It's such a good opener, like, saying to the chicks, like, yo, yeah, I can make you squirt. They go, what? So it was one night, man, I was running my own party, and then I made 4 chicks squirt for the first time. It was really just cool to show other guys that. And the girl's like, I never thought that was possible. And you're giving them such an experience that they'll never forget. They go, how the fuck did you make me do that? And then, like, the thing is, it's like you'll probably see it on the course of the squirting section, but it's like more, there's like 2 components of squirting. It's like the psychological and then the actual physical. The physical act is actually pretty easy, but it's actually relaxed enough and comfortable with you that she'll actually squirt. So that's it, that in short.
Yeah, the comfort piece is a huge component for sure. I haven't looked through that part yet, but I'm curious to see. You know, it's I was actually going to these parties in Kiev where they'd have squirting competitions, which is
that's That's it,
pretty
man.
entertaining. Pretty entertaining, to say the least.
What do you mean, like, who can squirt the most or the furthest, or just everything?
Just kind of everything. It's like, my buddy had this crazy house. It was like a big sex house, a dungeon, and they're like, all right, this is the Ukrainian annual squirting competition, first annual one. Let's go. And he just had a bunch of, like, I don't know, these like, sorry. Hey, will you guys close this door? Katya, можно, пожалуйста, the door. Спасибо.
What language is that, man?
Russian.
Oh, you speak Russian?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
A little bit. I'm learning, but yeah. So yeah, we were basically, he had all these, like, I don't know, these low kind of sofas, like kind of like a stool for stuff where you put your feet on. And like four women were, like, lined up there, and it was first like, all right, let's see who can go the fastest, the furthest, the most wet, all those sort of things. And I brought a client with me, actually, and he was like, I've never seen a woman squirt before at all. And then afterwards, like, what the fuck? What did I just see? Like, mind completely blown.
Yeah, man. It's crazy shit.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's so uncommon for, like, the average person to kind of experience, if they haven't experienced that sort of thing yet. So I wanted to ask you about what do you think about tantric sex? I'm not sure if that's in your course or not, but that's something for me that I've always just been very kind of clueless about. Like, people talk about Tantra, it's usually like kind of older hippie chicks, or guys that I feel like I just can't really relate to, kind of more like the woo-woo, real spiritual crowd, which I can run in. But once they kind of get on this topic of Tantra, I just kind of zone out. So I want to ask you, like, what's your experience there? What do you think about it?
Yeah, man. Everyone thinks, like, when they think Tantra, they think sexuality. Tantra, in short, just like really condense it down in a word. Like, everyone's like, you can't condense Tantra. I'm going to do, like, just the best, like, just to do it for a layman's term. I've always seen, like, life expanded. So basically, when I did a few Tantra courses, like, how can I live a life that is the most expansive? Basically, live a life that is the most, like, peak, and live at the most richness and fullness. That's, if you look at, like, Tantra like that. Now, that's why they look at the tantric sex. It's like, how can I live sex the most fulfilling and the most enriched? And that's why, like, the non-ejaculatory sex, because the peakness through the fucking full body orgasms, which takes a lot of time. But if you just look at it from a very layman's terms, how can I live a life that is like like my best life? If you look at that, because I know sometimes, like, that's why in what I do, man, it's like, I take a lot of Tantra philosophies, I take a lot of BDSM philosophies, but I don't say those words, and I actually just break them down into digestible chunks that people go, that makes sense, that's what I want to do. So it's essentially Tantra for your sexuality. Like, how can you live your sexuality in a way that is most expansive? And then you get, like, oh, cool, I get to have these, like, really peak, beautiful experiences and just keep getting more fulfilled in your sexuality, as opposed to being depleted. And they'll talk maybe sometimes in some traditions of, like, the depletion maybe through ejaculation. So you go, I feel depleted, but then some schools of thought say it's okay to ejaculate. But it really just think about that. So how can I be more fulfilled, and how can I be more, like, conscious about my sexuality when I do things? If you think about it from that perspective, that's probably the best way to look at it. And, like, it could be the eye gazing, it could be the touch, it could be deepening these experiences, it could be the gentle, like, nuances like that, slowing things down. But Tantra is basically all and everything, and that's why it gets a little bit confusing. And people people just think of Tantra, it's like it's this slow, fucking gentle thing. That's an aspect, but it's actually Tantra is everything in its life, and it's accepting everything, like the duality and things like that, without going too hippie. But it's like more acceptance of everything and living, like, the best we can be.
Yeah, that's helpful, because I like how you break it down. It's more of, I think I was getting hung up on just the language on Tantra, and being like, because a lot of people associate it with Tantra as, like, this, having an orgasm without even touching someone, or at least that tends to come up all the time. I don't know
You
what
can
the
have
hell
like,
it deals with it.
yeah, so like
Mhm.
I'll break that down like really like layman's term, man. Like, so I actually got a video coming out probably in about maybe, I don't know when we'll release this, but I've got a video coming out where it's like there's two chicks not even touching each other, and you look at this, and I actually break it down for like the layman's term because I get it, man. When I first saw it, like these chicks, like two chicks are on camera, and like the very tantric fucking chicks, goddesses, and they're like really like running energy through each other's bodies. Like, what the fuck is going on? I actually say, guys, you probably clicked on this video because you think it's two lesbians like touching each other. Then they do some high level vibrational like energy stuff and they're moving it through the body. Yes, it's true. Have I got to that point? Yes, I've done a little bit of stuff, but I kind of go, you know what? Maybe in a few years' time, I'll start like really tapping more into that. Yeah, I've had the full body energetic orgasms, but they're doing it through non-touch. Yes, it's possible, and I've seen it. Sometimes it looks like a lot of bullshit, and that's where I come in and be that bridge. I go, cool, I understand that world a lot, and I've seen that. I've had it, chicks run energy through my body, but at the same time, I go, it just looks a little bit weird from the outside perspective, but it takes a lot of discipline, takes a lot of focus, things like this, and then you start going into different realms, man. But the thing is, I'm like, I love that world. I can jump in there like really comfortably, but at the same time jumping out and going, okay, what is that? And let's break that down from a logical, fucking scientific, practical perspective as well.
Yeah, it's funny. I used to spend some time at a property out in Joshua Tree, California, which is one of the biggest like spiritual centers crowd. They said there's like a bigger like electromagnetic pulse there or something. And I was like, I don't know, whatever. And then one night we did a bunch of ketamine. And for some reason that really brought out that I could feel all this electromagnetic stuff. And I was like, oh, and now I know what all these people are talking about and why everyone comes here. They've got another one in Scottsdale, Arizona. But then we started playing with, we basically started playing with energy, which sounds as crazy as it probably fucking sounds to a lot of people. It's would have sounded crazy to me, but you could feel this fucking energy. And then we started doing it to my buddy's girlfriend on her vagina, and she could definitely feel like some crazy shit going on. So I 100% believe in that stuff, and I was the biggest like disbeliever. So
Oh, 100%. I say this, man. I
yeah.
actually introduce energy on the courses I run, man. Because some guys like, I don't believe. I go, cool, man. Let's break this down. Like, and this is how I speak as well. So guys, get them up. Let's break this down, man. I actually have this bowl, and it's like this like sound bowl. Have you seen them? Like they're a gold sound bowl. I just bang it, yeah. And then sometimes I bang it, and it makes like it just like rings, yeah. And when I go, cool. Who doesn't believe in energy? Who doesn't think it's fucking real? And who doesn't believe in intention? I go, I've got this bowl. I'm gonna smack it, and it's gonna make a really nice, beautiful sound. Like, have you seen those crystal bowls and things like that where they hit? Have you seen? Have you seen like a big gong?
Yeah, gone. Sure.
Do you know those big gongs? I say those big gongs,
Yeah.
and you whack it, and then you get the fucking vibration off that. I go, how about this? I'm gonna like stand in front of this gong. I'm gonna whack it. What do you feel? They go, yeah, I feel that vibration. I feel that like vibration running through me. I go, cool. So then you sometimes go, do you know how you feel shit around someone? Yeah. What's that? It's like they're emitting their fucking, they might have a shit day and you feel that from them. It's the same as this. If you're banging a gong, it's just like that vibration. So it's energy. So it is there. And that's like a really good fucking basic step into actually feeling energy. Like you get, like you whack a gong and you stand there, you keep have your hands there and you feel it. You actually feel it. It's like, what is that? Do you know, it's like the vibration of the energy coming through like that, man. You can just like basically break stuff down like that as well. And like you have that like simplistic thing, and then you can build off the foundations of that.
Yeah, I mean I think that's anyone who doesn't believe in energy is just like, okay, well, how does a cell phone work? Right?
Yeah.
Right.
How are we meeting these trends? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just sad how many myths there are out there. Like, oh, that doesn't happen. Squirting's not real. It's just peeing, or this and that and the other. So, but listen, man, I'd love to keep talking. I could feel like we could go on forever. Maybe we should have you on again. But tell us where can guys find you? Give us more info about the webinar you got coming up, and how guys can get more awesome info.
Yeah, sure, man. As I said, thank you so much for having me, man. It's been a blast, and definitely we could talk for ages, man, which is awesome, and I'm loving it. So yeah, I've got a webinar coming up on the 6th of May, which is how to be the best you've ever had in the bedroom without using pills, sprays, or having a massive cock. Now, because a lot of guys think I get guys, man, like sometimes like they just start out on their journey of sexuality and they get told by a doctor at a young age, you're going to have pills and have sprays. I'm like, it's not true at all. Also, on the flip side, guys have to have this massive cock. So I'm actually doing a webinar to break all this shit down and dispel all these myths, show you some cool shit. So like if you have troubles with premature ejaculation or getting it up, go check that out. There'll be a link below this video somewhere, because I just really want to help you guys get this shit sorted once and for all, so then you can actually live a life of sexual freedom. And yeah, what we do always say, we have like other podcasts as well. I'm going to get Robbie on there. It's going to be awesome as well. We're going to talk all about dating and confidence and stuff. So super excited to do that. So that's the Sexual Quantum Leap podcast. As I said, just listen to a lot of my free stuff. If that resonates with you, just reach out and we can have a chat. That's how I roll, because I just want to make sure that the free stuff that you're going, holy fuck, this changed my life. And then we'll go from there. So appreciate the being here, man. Appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, man, it's been awesome. Thanks so much for coming. Great conversation.
Thanks for listening. If you want more, go to innerconfidence.com and don't forget to subscribe to this podcast for the latest episodes.